Nursing, no doubt one of the hardest industries to go into. Nurses see some of the most insane things. They see some of the most disgusting things, the most shocking things. They see it. It takes an incredibly driven and incredibly brave and a very tough, compassionate person to make it in that field. And I have no doubt in my mind that the world would be a much, much worse place without the awesome nurses we have out there. But what are some of the insane stuff they see? I have a bunch of stories to go through that you're going to definitely enjoy. You might not. If you can make it all the way through this video, I'll be very, very surprised. I will definitely make it because I have to for you. So before I get into these stories, make sure you give this video a thumbs up doodle and make sure you subscribe if you haven't. It's important. So let's get into this insane, nasty, crazy mess. First one, had a nice older gentleman patient who was tachycardic, but all his labs were normal. He seemed like he took fairly good care of himself, was a little disheveled, but he was dressed nice and had nice shoes. We initially couldn't find anything wrong with him, but he had a peculiar odor to him that seasoned nurses would get suspicious of. I asked him if he had any infections on his body that he knew of, and he said no, but I wanted to do a thorough check, so he took off all his clothes, and he was fine until I got down to his feet. He was wearing an old pair of socks, and as I peeled them down, literally the skin around his foot came off with the sock. Oh, Jesus. I was essentially degloving his foot. It was so vile. I couldn't even get down more than a couple inches. It was raw flesh under those socks. The wound odor was so strong. I knew then that his feet were the source. He probably hadn't changed his socks in several months. He ended up being admitted and given a lot of antibiotics and wound care. The memory of pulling down his socks will haunt me forever. Whew! That visual is absolutely insane. It makes me just quiver in my booties. Just imagine your skin just peeling off like waxy Play-Doh. I don't see how you forget that your feet are falling off, but apparently you can when you get older. Next one was doing wound care on a diabetic man who took zero care of himself. It was a foot ulcer with necrotic tissue and gangrene. As I was pulling the old dressing off, I felt a subtle crunch. I looked and saw that, yep, the dressing pulled one of the man's necrotic toes completely off with it. He just sighed and said, "Not again." Ooh, what the does this happen to you often, Mr. Guy? Jesus. It turns out just a few months ago, his other foot was at that level of ulceration, and one of those toes came off when he put his shoes on. How he failed to notice the smell and the severity, although to be honest, he was morbidly obese and couldn't even see his feet, is a mystery. Whew. I feel like that's something I would notice if your toe fell off. My toes are pretty important to me. I don't know about you, but if my toe fell the fuck off, I'd be like, all right, I'm doing something wrong. If your toes are falling off, guys, you're not doing it right. See a doctor, please. Next one. I had a homeless guy that came into our hospital with an abdominal abscess, basically a hole in his abdomen. We were trying to clean his wound and assess the damage, and when we reached inside his wound, we started finding money. He nonchalantly stated that he kept his money tucked in there to protect it from being stolen. I'm gonna be honest. You probably won't get it stolen if it's in your abdomen. Because I usually don't search holes for money. Most holes. The normal ones. Next one. The worst smelling thing was a homeless man who came in with what looked like moon boots on his feet, except they were surgical boots that he placed foam around and duct tape. They hadn't been removed for about 3 months. He was also diabetic and had ulcers on his feet. We had to cut them off to be able to see what was happening. The smell permeated the entire emergency room. To top it off, maggots were just falling off his feet and wiggling on the ground. Oh, God. He was yelling down the hall and rude to everyone but me and would only let me take care of him. He ended up refusing care and insisted that we tape his shoes back on and let him leave. Management finally said we could, and we sent him off. Holy mother of God. They just sent him back out there with the maggot feet. Are you shitting me? He's just walking around on maggot feet. His feet are going to fall the hell off. It's going to be like the other guy with the toe, man. His toe just falls the hell off. No big deal. Don't mind me. Can you pick up my toe for me? Next one. A prisoner patient got mad at his cellmate. So mad that he took a razor blade to his own scrotum. Because that's what I do when I get mad. I just cut my scrotum open. A lot of scars there. Get pissed a lot. He decided to turn this cut into a kangaroo pouch and try to put travel-sized toothbrushes in it. To top it off, he slammed 2 pencils up his urethra. I don't know about you, but I feel like that's not where things go. To this day, I'm old. I'm 30, and I still feel like things shouldn't go in my pee hole. Do you put things in your pee hole? Probably not. You might. There's probably 1% of you that do. But I don't. So when you're mad, just take a knife to your scrotum. That's what we've learned from this one. Next one. Worked in the Army hospital on Fort Lewis. A woman came in for belly pain, and we found out and told her she was 10 weeks pregnant. The husband at the bedside started laughing, grabbed his coat, and left the room. Explaining to us that he had been in Afghanistan until 3 weeks prior. He looked back at her and just said, "Well, that's that, Brittany." I always liked how classily he left her while she just silently stared off into space. Well, that's that, Brittany. I've never understood why military wives just go on the raw dog, man. I don't understand it. It's just so damn risky, son. Next one. I had a 20-year-old patient in for a motorcycle accident without a helmet. The kid survived, but was never going to not be a vegetable living off of 15 different tubes ever again. He literally lost too much brain tissue. That kind of stuff is par for the course in Level 1 Trauma Center. What was hard was watching his parents stay in the room in shifts, documenting every little twitch and spasm and reporting it to us as a sign of him waking up, only to have been gently told, after assessing, of course, that it was just spasms with no conscious thought. They would also keep happily telling us about the welcome home party they had planned for him and making jokes that they're never going to let him buy a bike again. One day, they started visiting less and less and eventually stopped coming altogether. Finally, they made him a DNR. He was their only child. That one wasn't funny at all. That one makes me sad. A DNR is a do not resuscitate. So if he crashed, they couldn't resuscitate him. Wear a damn helmet on a motorcycle. Probably just don't buy one. But wear a helmet, please. Next one. This one's pretty insane. I am a nurse and have a nurse buddy that had a pregnant fiance. They were the perfect couple. Both had great careers starting out. Everything was butterflies and rainbows. Fast forward to the delivery room. They're in there and out comes a very black baby. My buddy is quite the pale redhead and his fiance is a blonde, blue eyes Texas girl. He made sure everything was okay, waited for her parents to arrive, and left without saying a word. He moved all of his stuff out of the house while she was in the hospital and cut off all communications with her. Just walked out of their lives in the most stone cold act I'd ever seen. They were together for 9 years, and he just left. Cold turkey. She tried to contact him at his job a few times, but he quickly moved up the ladder and eventually got a job in another city. He told me once that he took solace in the fact that her family already dropped about $10,000 on the wedding. That never happened. It always goes back to the raw dog. Stop it. I'm telling you, man. Stop it. Just don't do it. If you have no self-control, just don't do it. Never raw, son. So as you can see, nurses deal with a lot of stuff. Toes falling off, having to tell parents their kid will never move again from a motorcycle accident, finding money that I hope they kept that was inside the abdominal hole of a homeless guy. And don't forget the maggot feet. That's pretty important. Skin just falls right off the damn bone, son, if you don't take your shoes off for 3 months. I've wore the same socks for like a month, and eventually my feet started burning. Now think about 3 months. That's going to be a spicy ass foot. Your skin's going to fall the hell off. So don't do it. The nurses are telling you right now, just don't do it. It's very important. So what do you think? Are you a nurse? Did you enjoy this video? Make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you contact me on Twitter or Instagram for some nurse stories. I will tell your story. What is your craziest story? What you got for me? Let me know. So thank you again for making it possible for me to be able to do this for you. And until next time, make sure to get on it. Doggone it. Bye. Yeah.